Welcome everyone. In today's tutorial, we will be solving fundamental problem number 4 of chapter 2, in which we will be resolving 30 points along U and V axis. Remember this U and V axis. Here you can see that these axes are not perpendicular. So after the end of this lecture, you will be able to know how to solve this type of question which needs the resolution of force at any axis. So in this lecture, we will be solving and we will be learning that how to solve a force along any axis. So here we have this U and V axis, and this V axis is 15-degree clockwise from this perfect vertical line, and we have this force acting 30-degree anti-clockwise, and its intensity is 30 pounds. So we will be resolving this force along U and V axis. So means we need to determine the FU and FV values. So for this, we will be constructing a parallel line which is parallel to this axis. Here we will be constructing a parallel line. So this will be the FUV, and this will be the FU. So after, you can see that this is a triangle. So we'll be using a sine law and we'll be determining the value of FU and FV respectively. So now I will be drawing a parallel line from this resultant to this axis. So here you can see that this will be FV, and from origin and this straight line along this U axis will be FU. So I will be constructing this triangle here. So I just exaggerated this triangle here. You can see that. So here we have this parallel force and we have this horizontal force parallel to this UV axis. We have this component of Fy and we have this Fu horizontal. So here you can see that this will be Fu, and this is force, this is origin, this is this point, and to this point we have drawn this line. And from this point, we will be drawing this arrow, means the another force. This will be Fv, and we have this force which is 30 pound. And here we have from this horizontal to this 30 pound force, the angle is 30 degree. So first we need to determine this angle and this angle. Then after, it is very easy, just apply sine law. You can find the value of Fu and Fe respectively. Here I need to find this angle and this angle. So for this angle, which is the angle between Fv and this force, means I need this angle. This is the Fv, which is the parallel here. Fv, just a parallel force, like parallel component, and we need to find this angle. So this angle will be equal to this angle. This is a basic geometry that this angle, this is theta, so this will also be theta because we draw a parallel line. So it's from basic geometry class 10 or class 9. So we'll be determining this angle. So for this, we need to determine this angle. So for this, we know that this 15, assume that it is theta plus theta, then plus this 30, will whole combines and it will gives 90 degree. So just after calculating, adding these two values and shifting to the other side, so I will get 45 degree. So it is very basic from basic trigonometry, basic geometry. We found the value of this theta. So if this is 45, so this angle will be also 45. So this angle will be 45 degree. So we know that this is 30, this is 45. So I can easily determine this angle alpha. So alpha plus 30 plus 45. In any triangle, the sum of all angles will be equal to 180. So here I added all the angles and equated to 180. So 30 plus 45, add it and move to the other side. So we'll get 105 degree. After calculation, basic mathematics. So after calculation, we got this angle will be 105 degree. So we have all the angles. By just applying sine law, we can easily determine the value of Fu and Fv. So we will be applying sine law. Sine law states that a force divided by sine of its opposite angle will be equal to the another force divided by the sine of their opposite angle. So it was the statement. So I will be applying mathematically. I will be determining the value of Fu. So sine law states that force, I need to determine this force, and sine law says that force divided by sine of the opposite angle of this force. So here the opposite angle will be this. It means that force divided by sine of its opposite angle will be equal to another force, means I will be taking 30. This is also a force, resultant force, and will be the divided by sine of its opposite angle. So the opposite of this 30 force, the angle is 105 degree. So I will just give a gist that force divided by the sine of the opposite of that angle equal to the another force divided by the sine of their opposite angle. So it is the sine law and it is the mathematical form of sine law I just used in mathematics. So I will be directly find the value of Fu. So Fu will be equal to 30 divided by sine 105 degree multiply by shift this 45 to the other side, so it will be sine 45. So using this value in calculator, we will get the value of Fu. So I got the value of Fu is 22 pound. So we found the value of this Fu component, the value of this force along U axis. Now we will be finding the value of this force along V axis. So for this we will be using the same concept that the force I need Fv divided by the sine of their opposite angle. So we have this force and its opposite angle is this 30. So its opposite angle is this 30 degree equal to any force. We have this force and we have this force. So it is up to you that which force you are taking. So I will took this resultant force 30 divided by its opposite angle, sine of its opposite angle, which is 105. So if we equals 30 divided by sine 105 degree, shift this sine 30 to the other side, it will multiply, so sine 30. So after putting all the values in calculator, we got the value of Fv, which will be 15.53 pound. So I will just quick review of give quick review of this question that we resolve this 30 point along this v-axis and u-axis. So for v-axis, we just draw a parallel line. We found the angles, and by applying sine law, we got the value of fu and fv. So I'm confident that in future you will be able to solve and to resolve any question related to the force that needs to resolve along any axis. So I hope you got it.